Something that people don't talk a lot about with the death cross is you have to factor in the direction of the 50 and the direction of the 200.
Cryptoslo, cryptocurrency news and investing.
Cryptoslo with more crypto gains. What's going on, guys? Oh man, Bitcoin today. Oh, 36.2. It's not looking good. So, anyways, let's talk about it. Now, I'm not much into TA because, I'm just kind of that long-term hodler on my BTC side. But, you got to talk about protection of your assets, and the reality is it depends on where you're at if you should be protecting your assets. If you've accumulated a significant amount of wealth in this bull run, you definitely should be taking in some risk mitigation and thinking about preserving your capital just in case we just go full bear. That's my opinion. Obviously, I'm not saying to sell everything and, go all in on stables. I'm just saying, if it ends today, are you ready? Are you happy with your bags? So Bitcoin is bouncing all over the place, but really what I wanted to talk about today was this death cross. So if you're not familiar with the death cross is usually related to the 50 and 200 moving day average in technical analysis. Okay, and if you kind of look at the history, you can see when the 50 goes above the 200, it is typically bullish. Okay, we have a bounce, okay, and then there's your first death cross. Now, something that people don't talk a lot about with the death cross is you have to factor in the direction of the 50 and the direction of the 200. Typically, if they're going in opposite directions, it can be a false signal. Okay, so case in point. So let's look at this point right here. The 50 crosses, that is your death cross, the 200, okay? But notice, both lines are in the upward trajectory. So this basically, typically based on history, not a guarantee, means bullish, okay? Now, we come back to this line, okay? Now, it's not quite pointing down, but it's neutral. So there's some risk in deriving this data point, but the death cross here, the 50 is down and the 200 is kind of more sideways, okay? And then you had that negative price action. Then once again, you can see confirmation. Both the 50 and the 200, same direction. Bullish divergence, basically at this triangle of the 50 riding above the 200. And then we have this death cross at the top. Once again, this is clearly pointing down, and it crosses, and then we had all of this negative price action. Now, that takes you, now see, this is where it gets tricky. When the 200's kind of crabbing along, it makes the shorter time frame macro a little harder to interpret, right? Unless you get some divergence. When I mean divergence, meaning the widening of this triangle between the 200 and the 50. So we got the 200 pointing down. We had the death cross. We had the confirmation where it tried to make it above and the rejection. A lower low. And this does not look good. This does not look good, at least in the short term. This could indicate a major downtrend. So what's the takeaway from that? Well, I sold a little bit of my just coins that I had laying around, and they're just really not going very well. I had some Matic and a couple others. I just kind of cleaned up my bags a little bit and moved those over to dry powder stable, just to protect, because if BTC has a sudden drop to like the 30K range, The alts are just going to be super wrecked, super wrecked. Now, how low can we go? That's for another video. But I mean, just in general, the markets, the Dow's down almost 1,300 points in one day. I've been having a lot of conversations with other thought leaders in this, and literally the government, with raising these interest rates, it's probably going to crash the economy. That's my opinion. Mortgage rates are skyrocketing, credit cards are going up, and I did a lot of videos on talking about being leveraged in times of uncertainty. The very first thing I did when I created any significant positive wealth was to pay down all of my liabilities. And typically anything I do, I try to always pay cash. If I can pay my insurance a year in advance, I do it. If I can get a discount for this or that in cash, I do it. So, that's definitely something to think about, because, gas spiked today. Now I'm in the Midwest, so it's about $4.19, but it's pretty ridiculous. Diesel over $5. It's just not looking good. It's just not looking good. And people with variable percentage credit cards are just going to get slapped, because a half percentage point by the Fed can equal multiple percentage on the consumer side of lending. But on to more positive things. And positive news, the elephant.money governance strategy government contracts are finalized. So there's been a lot of questions of people asking about, how is the peg going to be supported, and how is the buy pressure on elephant going to be mitigated. So these are new, super secure, isolated contracts that are autonomous in the sense that they're not from human interaction. It keeps bad actors from affecting these treasury funds. So we're going to continue to see positive pressure on the system with these new contracts in place, and they do provide some flexibility as far as keeping the system running. Health-wise, liquidity continues to grow, sitting at 12.79 million. Peg is almost to 93 cents. So we told people, we said, hey, Trunks is on sale. Be patient. Patience, grasshopper. It's just a matter of time. The strategy contracts had to be tweaked a little bit, and, making the system even better than it was before. And I don't really see a problem. This will continue to gain health as the system charges forward. And that's, I tell you, Stampede is an amazing place to be in this market. With all these rugs going on, a lot of your side projects, the prices are down on them. Stampede is just killing it totally. And Bitcoin's crashing per se, and, Trunk keeps moving on. All right, looking at my elephant bag, elephant's holding out fantastically with this drop in BNB price, because BNB had dropped down into the 370s. It was over 400, so it kind of got giga wrecked with the BTC drop. But my Trilly bag is still chilling around 80K, and nothing's changed. I mean, I feel elephant's cheap right now. Everybody was wanting cheap elephant. Well, here's your chance to get it. Nothing's changed. This system is designed for a bear market. And, there's a lot of focus on stablecoin projects, especially if Bitcoin continues to go down. I'm thinking that DeFi 4.0 is going to be stablecoin projects. That is what the focus is going to be. This, everyone's like, what's next? What's next? What's the next big thing in crypto? And I think the next big thing in crypto is stablecoin farms. And Stampede is here. It's working, and it's paying. As always, DYOR, and don't put in more than you can afford to lose. But so far, Stampede for me has been my top earner. I've disclosed that I am in drip. Prices, the price is so down, and everyone's like, it's gonna go up. Well, I hope it goes up. In other news, USDD Double D has launched on Tron. Now, the thing that's a little confusing to me is when I went to Just Swap, I didn't see where you could mint. So that is a little confusing. I did check out the APYs. The best pool that I'm seeing so far is the US Double D TRX, paying 205 max. So let's say that it was 205 divided by 365. It's about a 0.5%. 0.0, yeah, it's 0.0056 a day. So yeah, not too bad. Now the breakout on that is you earn USDD and then you earn a little sun. So sun, not gonna put the farm in that. I imagine a lot of that will be sold off as yield, and then people will just continue to stack their USDD. But what if you put 10 grand into this? What is the yield? So 10 grand times 0.0056. It's about $56 a day. But then that's paid as stable coin. So that's not too bad. And then you could always hyper compound into that by redepositing and continuing to build LP. So we'll see. But like I said, I think Sun will have a lot of price pressure on it. And like I said, when I went over to, where was it? Went over to Just Swap. Wasn't seen. DD, was at the bottom? Oh, it's live. Okay, so this is V2. I wonder if it's on V3. Oh wait, V2 is the latest. Okay, so the USDD, so if I put in my max bag, I get 17 grand. So if I wanted to get into the pools. I haven't decided if I'm going to get in the pools or not, because for me, I was just kind of like speculatively saying that, I'm just going to hold my Tron and hope it goes up, because in order to get this USDD into circulation, they have to burn Tron. So I'm not really sure, but I'll leave a link down to this official pool. Be careful, because there can always be fake USDD contracts. Okay. And one way you can mitigate your risk is just to make a small amount of LP to make sure you have the official token. So that is today's updates. Hope you're staying safe out there. Like, subscribe. As always, this is Cryptoslo. If you're not talking gains, then we're not talking.